Today we're going to take a look at the old saying, know thyself. It is not only one of the great sayings of antiquity, it also presents us with an ongoing challenge. For what exactly does it mean? On the one hand, we can say that it means knowing about our own personality, having a clear idea of our strengths and weaknesses, our hopes and our concerns. This in turn enables us to assess our possibilities realistically and hopefully to act in a wise way. But does this saying, know thyself, have a deeper meaning? Consider, for example, these words of the philosopher sage Sri Shankara. Such indeed is self-knowledge, it is unique and gives one the conviction that one is entirely blessed. It needs no other evidence than one's own experience. So what could be better than this? Here, self-knowledge is said to be the means to ultimate fulfillment and satisfaction. While its meaning does include that personal self-knowledge spoken of just before, its range and depth go far beyond any individual self-assessment. It is here that meditation can really help us to uncover the meaning of that ultimate self-knowledge, as well as to know our own mind in a progressive and constructive way. For there is a close link between the practice of meditation that we do at these meetings and this quest for a deeper self-knowledge. In fact, this connection between meditation and self-knowledge is a natural one. After all, for many of us, time spent in meditation is probably the only time during our day when we are alone with ourselves, so to say. And at this time, we get a glimpse of our thought processes in a very direct way. In our active life, how often do we pause to examine our own thinking? Usually we just get on with what we have to do. But when we sit in meditation, we withdraw our attention from the outer life for a short while. We also do our best through practices to quieten our thoughts. This is challenging because even when we sit quiet in this way, we tend to go on thinking about our affairs through the force of habit. But be assured that all meditation, if sincerely undertaken, is instructive and progressive. Seeing our mind more clearly, we come to recognize its trends. Slowly but surely, we begin to develop the liberating insight that our inner being is not only the life of thoughts, it is something much greater. This is proved by the fact that we have this special capacity to view our thoughts from a more inward standpoint. Therefore, we gain a wider view of our inner life. And the purpose of meditation is to foster those tendencies of mind that will lead us to a deeper self-knowledge, one that is truly liberating. Why? Because it awakens us to a deeper reality. Our view of self in these teachings is that it is not only an inward principle which views the mind from a deeper standpoint, It is the very essence, the substance of our being, the being of our being. And it is completely beyond the reach of limitations and suffering. The self is that in us which religions speak of as divine. To realize its nature as it is to transcend all limited idea of self and to find wholeness and fulfillment. And this is the ultimate goal of meditation. We may ask, how can meditation have such a far-reaching implications? How can meditation have such far-reaching implications? Surely, it is simply a means of relaxation which we use to help us recharge our batteries so that we are better able to meet life's demands. But as we said, with true meditation, there is an inevitable link with seeing ourselves more clearly. The practice does help us to calm and strengthen our mind, but it will develop into something much more vital if we approach meditation as part of a path to self-knowledge. What will we gain if we allow its influence to pass into the depths of our mind? We'll find that the ultimate source of happiness, peace, and wisdom is within our own being, as our true self. We have talked about self-knowledge, but can we really think of the self in the higher sense we have indicated? There is a verse from a classic of the non-dual teachings, it's the Ashtavakra Gita, which meets this point. To attempt to think of the self, which is beyond the range of thought, is only to create a new thought. Abandoning such a thought, I abide in peace. The self abides in us not as thought, but as pure being that underlies all thought. Or we could say, the self is not thought, but pure consciousness that reveals all thought. In a sense, our thoughts are like a painted veil holding our attention and preventing us from seeing more deeply into ourselves. Quietening the thoughts helps to thin the veil. Quietening the thoughts is something that applies to all our meditation practices. But there are also thoughts of a special kind, specially designed, so to say, to help us make progress in meditation. These thoughts, these ideas, are to be taken up by our mind and held in it with calm concentration. And such thoughts are referred to, or such ideas are referred to as symbols of ultimate truth, symbols of that higher self. And each of our practices makes use of these symbols, of these symbolic aids to understanding and inner progress. For example, the first of our practices involves deep conscious breathing. But added to this practice, we are asked to say silently on the in-breath the word now. And on the out breath, the word here. And this has a twofold significance. First, it is an aid to keep our thoughts on the here and now of the practice. As we know very well, much of our thought involves recollections of past happenings or speculations about future ones. Now and here will stop us from losing our attention on what was or what will be, on the then and there created by our imagination. Now and here also directs our attention to the ever-present and eternal nature of our true being, our true self. This is the reality that underlies the present moment and hence is what is nearest in our experience. So now and here are pointers to self-knowledge. They are symbols in the form of words that point to that which is beyond words. Similarly, our second practice is a visualization, an image or picture on which to concentrate. And the image is that of a line of light, pictured as interior to the body, a line of light, which begins at the top of the forehead and extends downwards to the region of the navel. This line of light, then, is to be imagined in the inner darkness, a line of light at the very center of our being. And this is a symbol of our deeper spiritual core, which has no form, yet which may be to some extent brought into manifestation if our attention is turned inwards in this way. The breathing practice with now and here and the visualization of the line of light will be followed by the main meditation, which is on a text expressed in sentences that point our mind to the great truth of self as far as words can indicate it. And the text is, my mind rests in contemplation of the ever-shining light in my soul. That light is bliss. That light am I. You will see how the text gives our mind a direction. It is to contemplate, but not with strain, with rest, on something indicated by the words. Ever shining light in my soul. How do we do this? We can visualize light in the depths of our mind, or we can imagine light in the heart center, or we can think of it more abstractly as the inner light of consciousness. It is the light to which thoughts appear. So it is the light to which the thoughts appear. But this time we're not resting in the thoughts, we are resting in the light itself. And that light is bliss. That light am I. We learn about these practices and their benefits by doing them. But these introductory thoughts may give you an idea of how each practice serves a double purpose in this yoga of self-knowledge. First, they give us the means to stop our mind from wandering. Secondly, they increase our sensitivity to the transcendent, infinite realm within us, because they point symbolically to that realm. Let us now start with our practices. The first part of our meditation program is to prepare our mind so that we approach the practices in a calm and open way, recognizing something of the deeper quality and significance of what we are engaged on. So we sit for a minute or two in reverence and calmness. Om. Now we come to our breathing practice, and the complete practice is this. We breathe slowly, drawing up the in-breath as if from the navel to the spot between the eyebrows. With each in-breath, say silently, now. With each out-breath, here. And we do the breathing practice together now for about 4 to 5 minutes. Breathe slowly, drawing up the in-breath as if from the navel to the spot between the eyebrows. Establish a rhythm, in-breath and out-breath the same length if possible. With each in-breath, say silently, now. With each out-breath, here. Breathe slowly, drawing up the in-breath as if from the navel to the spot between the eyebrows. With each in-breath, say silently, now. With each out-breath, here. conscious breathing. Now, here. And now our visualization. We draw an imaginary line of light from the top of the forehead down between the eyebrows, nose, lips, throat, heart region to the navel. And we imagine this line to be a line of light and concentrate on it. Let us concentrate on this line of light, which is a pointer to the deeper self-knowledge. When your mind wanders, calmly bring it back to the inner picture of the line of light and stay with that picture as best you can. Draw an imaginary line of light from the top of the forehead down between the eyebrows, down the nose, lips, throat, heart region to the navel. Imagine this line to be a line of light and concentrate on it. Bring your mind back to the inner picture of the line of light. Once you have established this practice, you can do it during the day. You'll find that it has a purifying effect, protecting your mind from adverse influences. It is indeed a great refuge. And now we come to our text for meditation. Om. My mind rests in contemplation of the ever-shining light in my soul. That light is bliss. That light am I. What we want here is to establish the text in our mind so that we can repeat it to ourselves slowly and calmly, and feel that it applies to you personally. And the word soul here can mean the deepest and most inward part of your mind. Or you could take it to mean the self itself, your true I. Om. My mind rests in contemplation of the ever-shining light in my soul. That light is bliss. That light am I. Om. My mind rests in contemplation of the ever-shining light in my soul. That light is bliss. That light am I. Om. Stay awake. Be alert. The ever-shining light in my soul. That light is bliss. That light am I. The ever-shining light in my soul is the pointer to your infinite nature, to the here and now. Let us end by sending out thoughts of peace and light to all. Om. Thank you again for being with us and for your participation and support.